Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Boss Up with Mr. Key, where I'll only interview the bosses so that the future bosses or existing bosses can relate. My next guest is a guy from my own name, and ever since I met this brother, he's had a presence from a motivational speaker to a top agent in the Houston area to many other endeavors. But without further ado, wait a minute, before I go to that, he really has an interesting story, and I thought it'd be important for him to come share today. So without further ado, let me introduce my guest, Andre Notice. Hey, give it up for him, man.
Glad to be here, man. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, bro.
Thanks for the trip, man. Thanks for coming out. So, Dre, you know, you got a good name, first and foremost. So, you know, I got to say that. And a good profession, good career.
Yep.
But I want the people to know where it all started. So take us back to, you know, when you were walking around in the Pamper. What city was that?
Houston, man. Born and raised in Houston.
Ah, nice. Houston bred, huh?
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay, got it. Are you like the youngest, the oldest? How many siblings are in the tribe?
4 brothers. I grew up with 2 brothers.
Okay.
And then later on in life, both of my parents added an additional son.
So it's all boys.
All boys.
Where are you at in the mix? In the middle, older?
I'm the oldest.
Oh, okay.
So I'm over here trying to set the example.
You were doing a few spankings then. You were giving out some spankings back then.
Yeah. They were more like beatdowns back then, really. But, you know, it is what it is.
Hey, you live to fight another day.
That's it.
Great, man. So we talked about, I know your story, but again, people who don't know you, born and raised in Houston. And let's start with high school, man. Where was that at?
So I started high school in the late 90s.
Okay.
And I started off going to a school that was in a very transitioning area. It was a predominantly white school, then transitioned to a black school. And we moved from that school to the country. I actually moved to the country.
Oh, man.
But my first year in high school, I was not focused on school. I was bad, man. I was always in the AP office.
Was it a culture shock going from like a student body of probably thousands to hundreds?
And then being so many few people that looked like me.
Right.
So, but my head, regardless, was not there.
Yeah.
So I was focused on.
What made you rebel? What do you think it was looking back? Or was it just a natural occurrence, a rite of passage of being a young black man?
Nah. So in middle school, when it came to ladies, I didn't have the confidence to talk to girls that were attractive. But that switched when I got to 9th grade, 9th grade.
Blew your mind, huh?
I was just like, man, they're all the same. What does it matter?
Right.
So I just found myself talking to anybody. And then when I started receiving the feedback that I wanted, it got to my head.
Yeah. So you start caring about how making sure your shoes were clean, making sure
it was always that, but it was more along the lines of being able to have that relationship, that respect from a woman. Even when they were older than me, I didn't really care at that moment. So that's where my head was.
I mean, you got the feedback that helped you, but did like, you know, your mom, your aunt, or a cousin, somebody kind of give you that confidence early?
No, it was just a switch one day to where it was like, man, they're all women, they're all girls, regardless if they look good or not, and it just a mindset shift, and then it went from talking to the non-attractive ones to the best looking ones that were at the school.
Yeah, say, hey,
and I remember I was actually real good friends with one of the most attractive. We were freshmen at the time. We were real good friends, but she never looked at me like that. She was always talking about this one dude.
You were on the sidelines.
Right. I'm like right here. But she was always talking about this one dude.
Yeah.
I found out when I left the school, they actually hooked up.
Oh my God.
But it didn't work out. But yeah, crazy.
So one of the things that I probably pull away from that story right then and there, to learn how to talk to, you know, women or just anybody in general, moving different schools, you have to have confidence in your communication skills. Do you feel like that's kind of where you start to hone those skills that you have?
Yeah, definitely. And I can't even tell you that somebody taught me that skill. It was just one of those things to where I decided to just put myself out there.
The light clicked and you're like, hey.
That's it.
Okay,
that's it.
Good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, so we talked a little bit about high school and you started to get more confidence about yourself. What did you do after that?
Well, before I move on to that, I will tell you this though. That confidence was shattered when I flunked my first year of high school.
Oh man, your story sounding like mine. What happened, man? Why'd you flunk out?
Like I said, man, my head was in them girls. So
got it.
It was to the point where if you took all 6-7 classes, the grades, and you added them all up, you might have got 100 maybe.
Dang, man, you were like not doing anything, but just.
And I didn't even realize until it was the first day of school, the second year. And I went to get my class schedule. So I went to the 10th grade table.
Yeah,
and she was like, "What's your name?" Your name is not in here. Andre noted your name is not. She said, you may want to check the 9th grade table. And right before she said it, in my mind, I replayed everything that I was doing the previous year. And I knew I had
like, dang, I didn't pass any test. I didn't do any homework.
Yeah.
Man, so what was the, I'm going to use this phrase a lot. Like, what was that key moment that, because you could have easily said, man, forget high school, man. I can go do other things. What was the key moment that made you say, hey, you know what? I need to get my act together.
So what I didn't say was I come from a Jamaican background.
Okay.
Mama don't play that.
She's not playing, huh?
So I had to shape up. So I did find a school counselor that was going to aid me in doing what I needed to do to catch back up to my original class.
So you didn't graduate.
I did catch up
at 19.
No, I did. I wasn't a 5-year high schooler.
Okay.
I did catch up. All right. But I had to sacrifice. I had to get a job. I didn't play ball. All of that. So it was. Yeah.
That was like me too, man. My freshman year, like I started hanging with the wrong guys, kind of trying to posture myself in the tough crowd. And same thing. You add it all up at probably 100% out of 8 classes. And my mom just said, hey, you could drop out. You could do that, but you can't live with me. So you need to decide. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to drop out, but I can't go back to that same school. And so that was a turning point for me. It was just like, man, either be on the street and really be, living for the life or go to school. And, so my mom was like, all right, we can transfer, but you mess up, like you out of here. I'm not playing. And that's all I really needed.
That's it. So sometimes we need that kick, that tough love.
Yeah, I knew she meant business at that time. So high school was a little rocky path. Let me ask you this and see how similar it is. So at that point, I went back to school, but, I had honor classes here and there. I didn't really push myself to just be the cream of the crop. I just did enough to get out of there. Did you have that same story, or were you like valedictorian? Yeah.
For high school, so I'll say this. I did enough to catch back up. But one thing I am proud of, I averaged my last semester in high school A's and B's.
The last semester. Man, I had senioritis the last semester. I wasn't trying to.
I was just happy to catch back up, bro.
Catch up, yeah.
My class 2002, and I wanted to graduate 2002. I was not trying to be 03.
How many people did you know, like, who had like our similar stories but went the other direction, never came back to school?
I don't know about anybody, bro. Okay. Most people were doing what they needed to do on different levels. Right. It might have been the bare minimum, but they at least passed.
Got it. So, you graduate high school, right? Family happy. Mom was like, yeah, see, if it wasn't for me. But then what happened? What did you do?
I didn't know where I was going to go to college, but I did know where I wasn't going to go.
Why?
I went to school. My high school was out there in the country, but it was like a couple exits from Prairie View, A&M University, PV.
That would have been nice, right?
No.
What's wrong?
I knew myself. I said, man, if I go to PV, I'm going to have 4 babies by the time I graduate. So I told myself I wasn't going to go to PV.
So you eliminated PV.
I eliminated PV. And I found myself going to U of H, the downtown campus.
Nice. That was sweet. So you going downtown now. So it's a different posture that you have to carry.
It was almost like high school for college, though.
I'm sure it was a lot of people that you've seen from high school. Nah. So it was a different world then. It was new people.
Yeah, it was.
All right. So you did it. What'd you major? What'd you try to major in when you went there?
So I didn't know what I was going to major in, but people kept telling me about my voice. So for me, I didn't know what I wanted to become because I couldn't see past being a basketball player. I couldn't see past going to the NBA.
Hoop dreams.
That's it. So if it wasn't the NBA, I had no idea what I was going to do. But when people kept telling me about my voice, I I started to think, well, maybe I can possibly do something on radio or be an announcer. So my goal then started to become an NBA analysis. So since I'm not playing ball for the NBA, at least I can work with the NBA.
Right, that was
being
good.
an announcer. So I was going to go to school for communications.
It sounds like that got derailed. What happened?
Man, so interesting thing about me is that my mother told me that my gift a long time ago was in teaching. But when she told me that, I shunned it.
Why do you think she said that? What did she see?
She saw it. I don't know how she saw it.
You know how
she
moms, they know.
She saw it. And I didn't believe it, and I didn't want to believe it because when I heard teacher, I automatically associated that with academic school structure setting.
I see. Yeah.
I didn't think that a teacher can be outside of the school system, so I shunned it.
Yeah, I got it.
So my point is, when she said that, I didn't accept it. And she was right. That is my calling. That's what I am as a teacher. So because of that, when I'm in college, I did not enjoy being in a classroom setting because I'm a student. But my gifting isn't being a teacher.
Right.
So I didn't enjoy sitting there in that classroom being lectured
on that side of
the classroom.
Right.
I wanted to talk. I wanted to have the mic in my hand. I wanted to be the one telling, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I didn't know it at that point, what it was.
Okay.
So I found myself being the class clown. Didn't know why.
That's the way to use your voice somehow, some way.
Getting the attention from the class. So a lot of my classes, I was a class clown, and I found myself on academic probation.
There we go. That word. Let me ask you real quick. So you were being a class clown. In some ways, that's kind of like your first stage, your first chance of speaking in front of people, whether you're making them laugh, captivate.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, how big were some of those classes? What was, even with church, what was your biggest audience?
Yeah. So the biggest audience would be the entire church because I went to a big church at that time.
You had to step up and testify or something? Or?
Well, no, but there would be times I would step up to do the announcements. There would be times where I did poetry, things like that. I was a part of the young adult ministry. I sang in a choir.
Nice.
So I've been on that big stage for that.
How was it? What was? Can you remember the first time?
Nah.
Okay.
I know I was scared. I can't remember it.
That's what I was getting at. Like, man, was old
I knew I was scared.
I got
Definitely
it.
I was scared every time, actually.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to do it. See what I'm saying?
So there it is again, like starting, just kind of finding your voice in junior high school, to being able to talk to the young ladies, to going to school knowing that, hey, I want to find my voice in this class. I don't want to listen to this professor, to even standing up in front of a congregation, delivering announcements.
Right.
Like at an early age, it seems like you started to really find your voice and understand the power that you had in the word.
But I didn't understand that people wanted to hear what I had to say. And the second thing was, and I don't want to make it seem as if I'm unteachable, because I'm very much a student. But there's a certain way that you have to teach me. It's not being lectured to.
Yeah, everybody has different learning styles.
Right. Yeah. And mine was more of an interaction based versus you standing in the front of the class.
Right. And just yapping away.
Right. Yeah, right. That's not going to keep my interest.
Right. You tell me, you show me, let me do it, and then we can review. Got it.
I didn't actually find a great teacher, in my personal opinion, that I can really think back to till I got to, I was at the College of Biblical Studies. And then I met a guy named Guy Jackson, best teacher ever.
Really?
And I learned a lot from him.
What about Guy that kind of, touched you in that way?
First, he had a heart for people.
Nice.
He really cared. He wasn't just doing this for a check, as a lot of these teachers are. He was actually doing it because he actually cared.
He wanted to make a difference.
Got
it. Good. So, all right. So we here at U of H. Did you graduate?
Academic probation.
Bounce back from academic probation.
So because I was placed on academic probation, I was forced to leave the university.
Did that hurt you a little bit? Like, man.
It hurt my ego.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've been through that.
So I left there, and then I had to go to a It wasn't even yet a junior college. It was more of those local,
like a community college.
That's it.
Oh man,
that's it.
HCC.
It was called Lone Star.
Oh man, that's so generic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's Lone Star. It was called Cy-Fair Community College back then. Now it's called Lone Star.
Got it.
And I went there, and then I started seeing people from school, from the schools in that area.
They're like, "What you doing back here?"
But schools in that area, because I didn't graduate from that area, but I moved to that area because my parents moved from the country to that area.
Got it. Okay.
So because my little brothers went to school in that area, I saw some people that I knew from my brothers.
Makes sense.
Being associated in that area.
Okay.
And from there was when my mother got into the mortgage industry. And then her life, or our life, started to shift because she started making money in real estate. Before, we was barely making it.
Your mom and dad was together, or it was single, separate?
I had a gentleman who became my stepdad that moved in at the time.
Okay.
And he worked with my mom in the mortgage industry as I was in college.
So now you started to see a transition.
I see it, but I don't really see it. It's happening.
Were you staying at home then, or
I was at home.
Okay,
but we moved from a 3-bedroom house, 1 story, in the country. We moved to a 2-story, 5-bedroom home in the suburbs of Houston.
Nice. Okay.
With a pool in the backyard.
Moving on up, man.
Yeah.
Hey, mom did good.
Mom was doing all right. She was in a mortgage. She started her own mortgage company called the Mortgage Company and Associates. And then she hired my little brother's girlfriend to work with her. And
were you paying attention to like mortgages, interest rates back then? Or you were like...
I was in college.
Oh, okay. Got it. You were doing your own thing.
I would pay no attention.
Yeah.
But then... Well, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Keep going. Right. I like it. I'm following.
How I got into real estate was my mother was like, actually, it's my stepdad. They pretty much told me there was a gentleman that they were working with who was a realtor. He was their top agent. And my stepdad thought it would be a great idea for me to get my real estate license, and then we work a family business.
Keep it all in the family. Right.
That's when I went to get my license.
You listened right away, or did it take some time for you to be
when they told me his checks were $8,000, $10,000, $12,000.
You were like, hey, sign me up.
What? You gotta ask me too many questions. I'm asking too many questions.
Right. Jumping in.
Right. So from then on, as I was in college, I started taking real estate classes. Now, mind you, I'm young. I'm 20 years old. Right, 2004.
2004. You're like, okay, cool. I'm going to do this on the side.
On the summer.
How long did it take for you to get that?
It took me 6 weeks to finish the classes.
That wasn't bad.
Right.
It took me 6 months online.
I get that. But here's the kicker part. I failed the test.
Damn, man.
I passed the state portion the first time.
Right.
But that national portion.
Oh, yeah. It hit you in the gut.
Bro, I failed it. And each time you failed it, you could pay $59 to take it again.
Oh, you got paid to take it?
No, you had to pay.
Yeah, okay, got it.
They had to pay $59 to take it again whenever you want.
How many times did you have to do that? I thought you only get 3 a year at least.
Not back then.
Oh, back then you could just
back then you could see, as long as you had $59, come on, take this test. Now they changed it. Right. But again, this is 19 years ago.
Yeah.
So, bro, I flunked this test 8 times.
You wasn't taking the shit serious,
8,
man.
Yes, I was. When my mother showed me a copy of the realtor's check. After I filled it, I think the 3rd time, his check was like $11,000.
But guess what? You was probably not getting you said your learning style is more demonstrative.
It is.
Like, show me some stuff.
It was that, but it was, I'm going to tell you what it was. It was also the fact that it was an endurance test. It's a long test.
Yeah.
I'm good with
your
these short tests.
Is like,
right. So I'm good with short tests.
Right.
But these long 2-3 hour tests.
Yeah, my mind started going.
Exactly. And that was what it was for me personally.
Got it.
So,
but I mean, the fact that you failed and you kept getting up is commendable, my man. Like, I mean, a lot of people will probably say after 3 times, Mom, this is probably not for me. I'm about to do something else with this voice. I'll become a rapper.
Never crossed my mind. When I kept seeing those checks that he was getting, it never crossed my mind.
Okay, nice. You kept going. You got it. Boom. When you got it that day, like, when did business? Okay, so you got your license. Like, who taught you the business? Obviously, your parents were on the mortgage side. Where did you get that acumen and know how to be a realtor?
So that gentleman that was working with my mother as a realtor already, became my mentor.
Nice. Yeah, in-house
nice guy.
Plays good.
Nice guy. So he was showing me the business then. And back then, he was driving the car that I wanted when it was brand new.
What was that car?
It was a 2006, because remember, this was like 2005, 2004 or 5. It was 2005 Lexus GS 300.
Nice. So you were like, you were starting the Lexus family early.
That's what I wanted. And he had it already. At that moment, he had it.
Right.
Black.
So he was, man.
And he was showing me the business. And he was showing me what I needed to do. But what happened was, after a couple of years, because I sold a home to one of my mom's friends. After a couple of years, the market crashed.
Yeah, around that 2007 and 8.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whoa.
And when that happened, my mother lost her business.
Oh, that was a gut punch.
And then I had to make a decision. That mentor, he asked me, man, you could either work at my office, like 8 to 5 and learn, or you can do your own thing. Get a job.
Another key moment right there.
It is. It was, yeah.
Which one you choose? The blue pill or the red pill?
So I had never worked 8 to 5 before. That even the thought of 8 to 5 scared me.
Yeah.
Being in an office. So I said, I'm gonna go get a job, do something different.
Yeah.
So I left real estate.
Left the industry. Yeah. Left those $8,000 checks.
But here's the kicker, though. That same man went on to being the #1 agent in Houston.
He had perseverance. Wow.
To this day, he's still top 10 in the nation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you gain anything from like being under his tutelage?
Yeah, he taught me a lot.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
So you left the industry. I mean, obviously you came back. What was that? What steered you back to real estate?
So I was going from job to job.
What was that like, working a job after never having to work a job?
You know what was funny, or what was interesting, I would say, was working a job and telling people that you're licensed in real estate and then ask, what are you doing here? Yeah. You know? And that happened a lot.
Well, you know what I did when I was working a job? I just was studying real estate, and I would give advice and tell people, and I didn't know I was positioning myself as the expert. So people, one day my boss was like, Andre, you can't be selling real estate and working on the clock. You know, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, you just came and asked me for advice yesterday. Like, how that work? Yeah, what's up with that? I mean, they fired me, but they fired me the day after I passed my real estate exam. So that was like bittersweet. I was happy.
They released you.
Yeah, they let me go. People were like, oh man, I feel so sorry, you good? And I was smiling like, whoa, this is what I needed, because now I can start my business and get unemployment and make sure I have at least a safety net. Yep. So, all right, so you worked around, you did a couple of jobs here and there. Let's get back to real estate. Like, what year did you feel like, hey, it's time to jump in?
So 2007, I got a job that I really wanted, working at T-Mobile.
Okay.
At T-Mobile, around 2000, I don't know, 8-ish. I'm sorry, 10. I started in 2007. About 2010 or so,
right?
A young lady came in, and she had a BlackBerry phone. Remember BlackBerry? Yeah,
I remember those.
Yeah, I was a BlackBerry rep. I rep BlackBerry.
I had that big fat phone.
I had them all. And her BlackBerry, I was trying to help her fix it with some technological issues.
Right.
But it kept going off. Text messages, phone calls.
Her phone was jumping
just
off.
Going off. I'm like, what the hell? What do you do? She said, I'm a realtor. And I was like, yeah, me too. And there go that question again.
What you doing here?
And I was like, well, the market's not good. And she's like, who told you that?
Right.
You see my phone going off? Who told you that? You need to come on back to real estate.
Right.
So she convinced me to activate my license, and come on back to real estate.
Did you join her team or you just kind of?
So she lived on a different side of town.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But they had an office where I was. So I did reactivate my license, but I went part-time as I was working at T-Mobile. And then our management shifted. We got a new manager. I didn't like him. He didn't really care for me either. And I saw something I'd never seen before. I changed. I was a different person. Like, I was uncharacteristic. I wasn't the same person that they hired.
Really? What do you mean?
I was short with people. I would catch. I'll be snappy sometimes.
You think you were just checking out or something? Like, nah, I'm not. This isn't my thing, huh?
I wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
I was there physically, but I wasn't there mentally. And they kept making all these changes, and I was tired of them making changes, and I was tired of customers coming in to know about changes that I didn't know about. And 2011, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I knew it was time when I would get to work and I wouldn't feel good. But the moment I left, I'd be fine.
Better, yeah. You got sick going into that place,
right?
Man,
right. I felt like Superman. I saw this photo. I always tell people the story. I saw this photo of Superman in chains, and he had 2 guards around him. That's how I felt. Like I had all this power, all this potential, but I was in chains.
That job was your kryptonite.
Exactly. So 2011, I told myself that beginning of 2012, I was going to drain my 401k and go full time in real estate.
Man. So when you drained your 401k, what was that? Or like just kind of like getting your license reactivated? Were you paying for?
I had $5,000 on that I was going to hold me until I can get some deals going in real estate.
Got it. Okay.
So I drained that from the company. I got that liquidated. And then I was going to sell cars and sell houses because I ran into a homeboy I used to hoop with that made a lot of money selling cars.
You were like, hey, I'm trying to get whatever I can do to get on. I need to get on.
Full-time entrepreneurship hustle.
So here's the deal, man. I know your story. And at some point, I mean, I know you did all this stuff, but at some point it didn't work and you didn't have a place to stay.
Yeah.
Is that around the same time? Like when did that transition?
That's right before it happened. Because I was selling cars and then I was selling houses. But the dude that I was going to the auction with to get the cars died. Motorcycle accident on 59. When he died, I literally lost that stream of income.
Damn.
Then my roommate at the time told me I'm moving out in 2 weeks.
Damn.
So just like that,
everything.
My income is cut and my bills are doubled. And I'm still learning how to do real estate.
Damn.
And then it went from me living in that apartment to getting evicted to that apartment.
Damn.
And then from getting evicted there, I was living in a hotel.
What happened to all these ladies that you had, man? Nobody.
So that's it. So one of my friends, she found out my situation, not because I told her, because I was very private.
Yeah, private. You didn't keep that.
But she kept asking questions, and she found out my situation just by asking questions, and she invited me to stay with her. And I was going from one friend's house, sleeping on couches, floors, everywhere.
That's kind of like one of those low points, I bet.
Yeah. And I'm in my late 20s. Yeah. So, I stayed with 4 different friends. And then after the last friend, I moved in with my dad at 29 years old.
Is this your stepdad or your?
This is my biological father.
Okay, so
and I was on his couch, and I told him I'd be there for, I think I said 6 weeks, and I was there for 6 months.
Damn.
And I had just turned 30, and 1 week after my 30th birthday, he handed me a subpoena to get out.
It was like he evicted you, literally, with paperwork and everything.
Right. I still have the subpoena to this day. I still have it,
man.
And I kept it because I knew I'm going to have to keep this.
Yeah.
So I packed up all my things and I put them in the backseat of my car, And I was trying to do real estate this whole time.
Did you give Pops any rebuttals? Like, hey, Dad, like...
Nah, I understood. I wasn't mad. I understood. Mm-hmm. And he told me later on, years later, he told me that he teared up when he did that. But I understood. I wasn't mad at all because I knew what I was going through.
Right.
I knew that God was doing something. I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand it, but I knew
it was working. He's starting to work in your life.
I knew. Let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you this story. Right before I got evicted, when right before I got evicted and things started going wrong, I was standing in my bathroom, and this song came on I had never heard before. And this is a gospel song from Donald Lawrence. The name of the song was called Coming Strong.
Right.
And in this song, he says, I'm coming strong on your behalf. I closed every door just so I can be the one to open it. God was speaking directly to me through that song, letting me know I'm about to close every door.
Wow.
Just so I can be the one to open it when the time is right. So he pretty much told me I'm about to go through something, but I didn't understand it at that time.
I think it was built. Now looking back on it, do you feel like that you needed that to build something in you to?
Well, yeah, because the thing about it is, as a motivational speaker, as an inspirational individual, as a person that has influence, it's hard to tell people stories and give people advice about things that you haven't been through.
So true.
And it comes from a different place when it comes from experience and hardship. And you grow to a different level once you've gone through something. So you can go through something or you can grow through something.
Got it.
I grew through it.
Nice.
Because I learned a lot about life, about myself, about the process, about success, about a lot of different things.
Wow. So that became a part of your testimony.
Yeah.
And that really helped you project your message, it sounds like.
100%.
So, okay, you go through this, and at some point, it starts to turn around.
Yeah.
Was it, let's talk a little bit about, because I know your real estate history, but public speaking, like, when did that come about? Like, how did that come along?
So... It was about 2015 when I was living with my dad and started to get my own place because I was homeless for about 3 years. And then I finally got enough to get my own place. So I got my own place. This is all real estate full time. I'm selling homes and I got no home. I'm literally, I have all my belongings in the car and I'm out showing houses and I have my belongings being covered by 2 black coats in the back so they can't see that it's my belongings back there.
You had to really, they say fake it until you make it. You really had to.
Or faith it till you make it.
Faith it. I like that.
So I'm literally selling homes. I would get up, I would sleep at inside my car in the parking lot of a hotel. And the very first 2 nights, I slept at a park. And I was awakened by police banging on the window.
Wow.
Because I was supposed to be, I didn't know that.
Right.
He put me in the handcuffs, put me in the back of the seat and said, I could haul you in. You got 7, I think I had like 8 warrants. I didn't even know. Unpaid tickets is all it was. He, by the grace of God, he let me free. I didn't know where I was going to go. So I realized that hotels are over 24 hours. So I would sleep every night in front of a hotel in the parking lot. And I would get up about 7. I would go to either Walmart or 24-hour fitness. I would brush my teeth, wash my face, take a shower, 24-hour fitness in the gym. And then I would go to the Starbucks, Panera Bread, and I would work. I would show homes and I would work.
Just grind it out.
Yes.
So at that point, your back is against the wall.
Like I had no choice. It's what it is. But I knew at some point, I'm going to be speaking on stages, telling people what I'm going through right now. I knew it.
Did that ring in your ears, your mom telling you, hey, you were meant to be a teacher?
No.
It didn't. It didn't come full circle yet.
Nah.
Man.
But I knew I was going through something.
Right. So you went through that, and when did like your faith and hard works finally started to yield the fruit?
So finally, when I got my place in 2015, things started to change, and I started to get a little bit more consistency in my business in real estate because people started to see the consistency of my efforts. And then I realized that I needed to create something. I wanted to see more homeowners that looked like me.
Nice.
So I created my very first speaking platforms that I had was my own creation. I created home buying seminars. Not saying home buying seminars, I created them as a whole, but I created my own version of it.
For you and your community.
Right. And nobody taught me how to do it. I just took my knowledge and I said, I'm going to need this, and this. And I just made it happen.
Wow.
And I started speaking on my own stages by telling people about the home buying process. And then from there, people will start inviting me to speak on their podcasts like this. I started off speaking on relationships. And then from there, people would reach out to me about going to the schools, giving back at career days. So now I'm speaking in front of kids. Now, all these gigs are completely free. I'm just spending my time, giving my information, my expertise.
Right.
But I'm realizing that people are liking what I have to say oftentimes.
Yeah.
People wanted to hear what I have to say. They wanted to hear more about me and what I have going on. And I kind of like the speaking thing. It's actually pretty cool.
It's cool. It's like
so,
you started to come alive once.
Right. And I realized that I enjoyed it.
Right.
I enjoyed having the mic in my hand and sharing. I enjoy seeing somebody's lights go off in their head because of something that I said. So that's how it started for me, bro.
Man, that's perfect. So, I mean, and I personally know from that, I think engagements took you all over. Tell me a little bit about having an opportunity to work with Les Brown.
Yeah, so I strongly believe that your network is your net worth.
So true.
So a lot of the engagements and a lot of the opportunities that I've had comes from those individuals around my circle. And I met a young lady who knew about that opportunity and she presented it to me. And that's how that came about. Was all based on relationships.
Just relationships, being out there, being on the scene.
Right.
People referring you, hey, I got a speaker for you.
Yes.
And not taking any money to
a lot of times I'm paying. Sometimes I'm even paying. Like for this particular opportunity with Les Brown, I paid for that opportunity. But I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I didn't have the right individuals around me.
Now that's a credential that you can use
for the rest of my life. Because I have a book with Les Brown.
Yeah, man. Tell the people the name of that book.
Yeah, man. So the name of the book is called Greatness in You.
Greatness in You.
Greatness in You. I'm getting ready to do another book launch on my birthday next month. I'm excited about that. I just made that decision.
Nice.
It's going to be a birthday brunch book launch.
Oh, I gotta be there, man. Yeah. And so tell me a little bit about that book. Like what is it?
So it's called an anthology. And an anthology is a book of multiple authors. Each author writes a chapter to make one book.
And you're doing that with Les Brown.
Les Brown and about, I think, 30 other authors.
Man, that's amazing, bro.
Yeah. So my chapter, they didn't get the title in there, but it was supposed to be called Andre's 5 A's to Change Your Ways. So it's how to break the cycle, how to go from where you are to where you want to be. And it's 5 A's.
I don't want to give too much out on the book, but I'm curious of like a little bit. Can you give me a little bit of those A's?
Yeah. So I'll give you the first 2 A's.
Okay, good.
You got to buy the book for next week.
Gotcha.
So the very first 2 A's, if you really want to change your situation, if you want to get from where you are to where you want to go, the very first A is awareness.
Awareness.
It's awareness. You can't change a situation that you're not aware of.
Right. If you're
completely impossible.
That's true. A lot of people don't look in the mirror like we aren't really true to ourselves to know where we are.
That's the second A. The second A is accountability.
Accountability.
Or acceptance. It's the same.
Man, it's
hard. Accepting the fact that I am where I am right now because of me.
My own actions, which is another A.
You can't blame nobody else. I am here right now because of me.
Exactly.
The moment that you point the finger on somebody or something else, whatever you point the finger at has the power.
You give it the power.
You give the power away. So until you accept it and take accountability, you have no power to change.
Man, that's good, man. People, you hear that? Like, this is a gem right here, and we need to know when that book is out. So maybe
it's
once
already out.
Oh, it's out. Okay, good. Hey, tell the people where to find that book.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Greatness in You. But I'm actually getting ready to relaunch my own personal website because I don't like to push books on Amazon because they take 40%.
Ooh, that's a big cut.
And then I can't even reach back out to that person to say thank you and what'd you think about the book because I have no knowledge on Amazon. When I'm selling on my own personal website, I can reach back up to and say thank you. I appreciate you.
Straight direct to customer.
Exactly. And I get 100% of the proceeds as well.
There you go. That's smart.
So that's
smart,
what I'm working
man.
on right now.
So my man, you came from like staying in front of hotels, trying to hide the fact that I don't have a place to live, but I'm telling you about, the importance of ownership.
Yeah.
And to like working on some of the highest stages with some the most notable names in the industry.
Yeah.
What's next for you?
Oh, man. So I believe that you can actually predict the future because you can create the future.
You can create it.
So I'm a real big believer in manifestation, law of attraction, whatever you want to call it.
No doubt.
So right now I have a coaching program and I'm working on taking that to another level.
Nice.
And my coaching program is I help unsatisfied, unhappy, unfulfilled entrepreneurs or employees transition to entrepreneurship.
That's key, man. I'm glad that's kind of the premise of what you're doing because it's similar to what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
So if you were to talk to an aspiring entrepreneur,
that's my audience.
What would you, in a few words or a sentence, like what is something very key that you would tell them about their journey?
So two things. The very first thing I would say is it's possible. But the question is, how bad do you really want it? The second thing I would say is know that anytime that you make either a decision or an action to radically change your life, it will not be met without opposition. You're going to have to go through something. And it's up to you. Are you going to go through it or are you going to grow through it?
Nice.
It's your choice.
Go through it or grow through it. I always, I look at life like a pendulum or like a tide. Like sometimes it's high tide, sometimes it's low. Sometimes the pendulum spins way left but it's going to come back the other way. It's just how you prepare, how you overcome, just knowing and being aware that that's just a part of life. That's a part of the cycle.
Exactly.
And if you keep doing the work or you keep doing the passion or whatever it is that drives you, that you're going to come out on the other end of that pendulum.
Yeah, because failure is a part of the process, but you are not a failure until you give up.
Until you give up. So key, so key. Man, tell people where they can find you if they need property in Houston or if they want to have somebody come and shed some of these gems on them.
Absolutely, man. I'm easy to find. My name is Andre Notice and I'm Googleable.
Andre Notice.
You can Google Andre Notice or you can go to andrenotice.com and you can find me on there. My Instagram is You Will Notice Me. The letter U will notice me, as you know.
Gotcha.
And I'm easy to find.
Easy to find. Andre Notice or Andre Key. Except there's one other Andre Key. He's like a professor of African American studies. He keeps popping up before me on Google.
Oh, you gotta change that.
You gotta change that. I gotta pass that Andre Key. So if he's out here listening, man,
I'm coming for you.
I'm coming for you, no doubt. Well, man, Dre, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your presence. I definitely got to get you back, man, because my show isn't that long, but I know you have so much more you can share.
Absolutely.
Thank you for speaking to the audience. And like always, you can become a boss if you just strive and get the mentors and make sure you're aware and accountable for your own self. And with that, it's a wrap.